What is up guys, Jarv here, back today jumping into Destiny 2. Now in today's video we're taking a look at the last override. There's been a handful of leaks throughout the season that have pointed towards one last override mission, and in this video today we're going to take a look at everything we know, but more importantly I'm going to show you how you can get inside. So if you want to find out more about what the Epilogue's got in store, be sure to stick around and enjoy the video. If you do enjoy the video, be sure to leave a comment and rating down below. And remember to subscribe for more Destiny 2 content. 80% of you that watch these videos aren't currently subscribed, so if you want to keep up to date with everything to do with Destiny 2, be sure to hit that red button and ring that bell so you don't miss an update. But without further delay guys, let's jump into the video. Now before we jump into the meat of today's video, I want to first invite you all to the Jarv Community Hub. This is a fast growing community Discord we have with nearly 6,000 incredible Guardians. So if you'd like to talk about Destiny, share your god roles, or just get fire teams together to get things done, be sure to jump in. It's available to absolutely everyone, and you can find the link to that down in the video description below. Now jumping back into today's video, first of all I think it goes without saying that there's massive spoiler warnings here. This is a combination of leaks that have come straight from the horse's mouth via Bungie, but also our friends over at Reddit too. So if you don't want to find out what's in store for the final weeks of the season, be sure to check out one of the other videos here on the channel. Now as we approach the end of Season 14, more interest has been focused on what the Epilogue is and the sort of encounters we can face throughout that 2 weeks. Now as a result of our friends over on Reddit and our eagle-eyed Guardians, if you've been using the Destiny companion app and look for a fire team for Override via the official Bungie app, you in fact get a sneak preview at the Override mission in the Bots of Ruins. This is in the Elixni camp and right under our noses the entire time. Now the actual image used for the LFG section of the companion app is also publicly available, and as we can see here, the actual override itself takes place in the centre of Bots of Ruins, above where this Scourge of the Past raid final boss encounter takes place. We also have the portal there, so we can go inside the Vex network in order to collect that data fragment. Now this isn't the only image that's publicly available, we also have the modifiers for the Override Last City activity. Here we have Air Superiority, where flying units will do increased damage, alongside Denial, where Taken Vandals summon their shields significantly more often, and this is alongside Barrier and Unstoppable champions. So as well as fighting Vex in the Last Safe City, we'll also be taking on Taken in this unique version of Override. Now all the images that you see here are publicly available, either via the Destiny companion app or directly via the Bungie website. Now some of these images were even presented as part of the press pack for Season of the Splicer, and have been available all season. Now these all form part of the As Prophesied quest, which is the final quest which kicks off on the 10th of August. Now earlier this season we had a hotfix in order to fix some triumphs, but as a result meant that some additional pieces of lore became available earlier than intended, and as a result spoiled some of the story linked to the final part of this season. Now Lakshmi 2 and Osiris are the two shadiest characters in the entire season, and it seems that Lakshmi gets her own way and finally opens a Vex Portal inside the Last City. Now the idea behind the Override Last City is to finally shut down the Vex network for good, saving the Last City from Vex and Taken, as well as fighting and defending alongside our new allies, the Fallen. Now there's been a lot of speculation on who the final boss will be and whether Queria could potentially make a return. And much like when we kicked off Season of the Splicer, we'll be facing a subjugated Minotaur. Now this isn't the same Minotaur that we fought in the first mission, but in fact a new one altogether that looks more akin to Atheon. Now once again this was leaked as part of the press kit for this season, and when you have them side by side you can see they are in fact very similar but not quite the same. Now we have yet to see this boss in any of the Override missions, and this is what I firmly believe to be the final boss for the Override City encounter. Now upon completing the Override Last City you'll need to speak to Saint 14 and Ikora Ray over in the tower, but it's not until the weekly reset on the 17th of August that we get the final part of the Epilogue itself, and this is called Heroes Memorial. Now to recognise the sacrifices made both by Guardians and Fallen in their fight against the Vex in the Last Safe City, a memorial has been placed to pay our respects. Now upon visiting the memorial, you'll be granted the Forbidden Memory exotic ship and also an Ascendant shard, and upon completion this should form the conclusion of Season of the Splicer. Now with this information in mind, we can go one step further and actually gain access to some areas of the Last City Override. Now in order to do this we need to go out of bounds in the Elixni camp. Massive shout out to JB3 and Froggy from Raid Secrets, who are some of the best escape artists in Destiny 2. And if you haven't checked out those two channels already, I'll be sure to link both of those down in the video description below. Now to get outside this area of the map, we first need to be able to spawn a Sparrow. This isn't something you can normally do. If you come over to this corner and set a res point, you can do this by crouching in the corner for roughly 20 to 30 seconds. And we need to be able to quickly pull out our ghost and fire our grenade launcher in order to take ourselves out. Now this will set a new spawn point, and in doing so we can instantly spawn our Sparrow. Now by using our Sparrow, we're going to head over to the right hand side over here, over to these balls hanging from the ceiling. Now we're going to be wedging the Sparrow underneath this, and by wedging the Sparrow and dodging left while jumping off, you have a very good chance of being able to Sparrow breach the floor. This will push you underneath the map into some of the older parts that you may recognise from the Scourge of the Past raid. Now once you drop through the floor, you want to head left on top of these ceilings and work your way around to the left hand side. And once you make your way around, you want to drop down, and we're looking specifically for this staircase. Now there is an invisible wall here you need to jump around and land on top of the staircase. Now in order to be effective here, we need to get our abilities back. Now in order to do this, you simply need to wipe. Now by wiping inside the Bots of Ruins and out of bounds, you magically have all your abilities and your weapons available to use. This makes it much easier to access areas that we otherwise wouldn't have available. Now we're going to be jumping where roughly that pulse grenade is, as by dropping down exactly where that pulse grenade is, we'll be able to drop through the death barrier. Now if you drop normally as we did earlier in the video, this would normally cause a wipe. But by finding a small gap in the death barrier, we can actually go underneath the death barrier to see what goodies lurk in the mists. Now from here, you'll need to be able to do Sparrow Fly, and ideally on a Titan with catapult lift. By being able to effectively Sparrow Fly, it allows you to explore large open areas whilst also still retaining some height. Now as you saw earlier in the video, we did drop past the old Vex Portal that we identified in an earlier video earlier this season. Now that Vex Portal is directly underneath Bots of Ruins and is likely the teleporter that we need to activate by completing the override objectives as part of the activity. By completing the objectives, this opens up the Splice, which opens up the Vex network, and upon dropping down into the Vex network, you'll hit the Vex Portal and this will teleport you to one of 4 boxes. Now there are 4 large boxes out of bounds in the Bots of Ruins, and each of those contain a piece of each of the override missions. Now as you can see there, we managed to successfully identify one of the boxes and land inside part of the override mission. Now these sections of the Bots of Ruins are the pre-boss encounter jump sections. These normally have jump platforms but also laser beams we have to avoid in order to get to a portal which teleports us to the final boss encounter. Now as for the box that contains the boss, we haven't been able to locate this, but we have been able to locate all of the pre-boss fight puzzle sections. Now the Override Last City will have its own node that we use to launch the activity, much like all the other overrides we've had this season. And once again, much like those overrides, upon completing this small puzzle section, this will teleport you to the boss, where we face a taken Atheon, who is waiting for us deep inside the last safe city. So there we have it, a good look at all the leaks covering the last override in Season of the Splicer. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to check out one of the 2 videos you see here in these cards for more Destiny 2 content. And if you want to keep up to date with everything to do with Destiny 2, be sure to hit subscribe as well. I'm going to jump back into the game as always guys, and I will catch you all again very soon.